What is going on, everybody? This is SERG VICENTE, the host of the Fight Podcast. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Yo, so much to talk about, so much to jump into. Thank you for joining live. Remember, subscribe here on YouTube, all the social medias, all those things. Thank you guys for checking out. Actually, as of right now, if you look right over there, that's the Avalon Theater here in Hollywood, California. And actually, what we're gonna go ahead and do, it is the Ryan Garcia Mario Barrios press conference. So I will be there today breaking all of that down. I'll have more content on the social media up there so you guys can check out. So that's what we're doing here today. But let's go ahead and jump into the episode, man. Episode 391. And I know you guys are going to look at it and say, yo, why are you being so hyperbolic in the way that you are, naming this episode and essentially saying that, Dana White don't care. And I'm saying that for a specific reason, because obviously this upcoming week, and we're going to talk about a couple things, but Zuffa Boxing, headed by Dana White and UFC and TKO, is having their inaugural card right now. It is their first card. It is at the UFC Apex, and it is headlined by Callum Walsh and Carlos Ocampo. And I'll be honest with you, man, when you look at this card, I go down the list and everything. This card itself, if you're a hardcore boxing fan, if you sit there and you actually like just watching low-level guys compete and seeing people who have the opportunity to hopefully climb up one day and actually be the face of boxing, or being somebody that's good, very, very similar. And that's one thing I'll say about Zuffa Boxing from the cards that I've seen. They're trying to get one, obviously, big name. And then from the big name, they're trying to just fill out the rest of the card. And the cards are essentially like contender series cards, if you really look at it, right? So we're not looking at a card that's actually sitting here like one of the Ring Magazine cards that are stacked with talent. These are some up-and-coming guys that you've never heard of, but hopefully the main event is actually legitimate. When I look at this card itself, I'm not even going to talk about it that much, because I'll be honest with you, don't none of y'all know who the hell these people are. It's just being honest with you. Nobody knows who it is. And then if I look at Callum Walsh, Callum Walsh, salute to him. He went out there. He beat Vargas his last time out. Vargas is a guy that isn't, he's good, but he's more of a prospect. He's going to end up being a journeyman probably. And I'll be honest with you, that's honestly all Callum Walsh is. Is he a world beater? Is he a guy who is going to be a champion one day? No, absolutely not. But with all the smoke and mirrors that we're doing, we put him out here against Carlos Ocampo. And if you guys don't know who Carlos Ocampo is, he's a guy that not only lost to Errol Spence, no shame in that, he also got knocked out brutally by Tim Tszyu. Went out there and knocked him out at 54, man. So he's a guy that he's lost at the highest levels. He beats guys. And so I will say this fight against Callum Walsh is probably going to be an entertaining fight, just because they're both kind of mid, right? And then one thing that I'll say is super interesting in terms of the Zuffa Boxing cards, and especially if I'm looking at these individuals, and I'm looking at the ones like a Jai Opetaia. Jai Opetaia is the #1 cruiserweight in the world. The dude is an absolute savage. If you haven't seen him, you need to. He's I believe he's Australian or New Zealander, but he's fantastic, and he is the absolute best in the world in that weight class. And he is, to this point, the biggest signing by TKO and Zuffa Boxing. I'm going to keep it a bean with you. I'm curious how this is going to go, and I am very honest with you. I don't know or don't think that Zuffa Boxing is going to actually go that far, because if we're looking at everything that they're doing with the Ali Act, and their amendments came through today, and then they're claiming that they don't want to interact or deal with the other alphabet, belts. So we're talking about WBC, WBO, IBF. They're like, we're not dealing with this. We only deal with the Ring Magazine belt, and that's it. In concept, that makes sense. I'm here for it, but I'm still, like I said, I have Grisham, what's up? Salute to everybody who's joining live. Thank you guys so much for joining live. Like, share, and subscribe. Let people know about the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling, or all the combat sports. Here we talk pro wrestling, we talk everything. So with Jai Opetaia, I'm interesting again. Even watching and listening to Dana White talk about it, he had a content. They were like, "Hey, Jai said he's gonna, he wants to compete for all the other belts. He wants to unify," which is polar opposite what Dana White and Zuffa Boxing says they're gonna do. So now they're going back and they're like, well, we might end up doing X, Y, and Z and everything. So what you're telling me is that essentially you guys are going to end up being just like everybody else. And if not that, probably even more insidious. One thing we look at how the UFC is run as a monopoly, and how if we're looking at all of the, to be fair, the lawsuits, and not just the lawsuits that have been, against them, the ones that they've paid out, the millions of dollars that they've gone out there and paid out, specifically to make certain that, because they haven't paid or they've had terrible, terrible business practices. And I know people are like, look, man, Serge, hey, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. But we're dealing with individuals that are negotiating in bad faith. So if they're negotiating in bad faith and they've been proven to, they consistently negotiate in bad faith, how can we trust them moving forward? And then if we're looking at things in terms of boxing and boxers, fam, look, boxers, look at me. I'm talking to you. UFC fighters aren't getting paid. Literally, this weekend, we got Justin Gaethje. We have UFC 324. Justin Gaethje just went out there and said, hey, man, I'm not getting anything. He's like, I have 14 bonuses. 14 bonuses, and all of my 14 bonuses have not equated to $1 million. How is that possible in this organization that's supposed to be the top of the top, right? The creme de la creme. How hasn't he gotten that? He's proven himself. So if we're looking at this boxing thing, is it going to be any different? It's not. It's not. It's not going to be any different. And it's interesting when I'm seeing other creators and things of that nature going out there, and especially, oh my God, look, I got so much respect for Max Kellerman, but the way that this dude is filleting, Zuffa and Dana White, oh my God, like keep that shit over there, yo. It's actually embarrassing. And then you have the other ones, and here's the thing, I respect showbiz, and I respect some of the other people who are out there, but yes, we want to see boxing be the biggest sport in the world. We want to see boxing and combat sports thrive, but how are we not paying attention to what this organization has been doing? Dead ass. This is exactly what I feel. And again, it's so, hilarious to me when I'm looking at these type of things, even looking at politics. People sit there after the fact, they're like, oh, this isn't going to happen. They wouldn't do that. But when it happens, they're like, oh my God, can you believe that they did what they said that they were going to do? Come on, people. Come on. Zuffa Boxing is going to go out there and take advantage of boxers and not pay them what they are worth. They're going to consistently doing this, and then we're watching these fighters. I guarantee you, in a year or so, we're going to end up seeing them, just regretting their decision. I'm letting you know. All right, moving right along. Let's keep it in the vein of Dana and I, Karen, and let's talk about UFC 324. UFC 324 is a card. If I wasn't paying attention, and if I haven't been watching MMA for a long time, on paper, it should seem lit. On paper, it seemed fire. It seemed like the type of the type of event that is worthy of it. We have Justin Gaethje, 14 bonuses, record 26-5, former WSOF champion. I had the pleasure of watching him compete in Chicago when he was with WSOF. The dude has always come with it. And then he's fighting Paddy Pimblett, ranked number 5, 23-3. This is why I'm going with Dana White don't care, okay? And I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. When we're looking at this card is buns, okay? Straight cheeks. This is what this card is. And if we're looking at it, it has some name recognition. But again, let's look at Paddy Pimblett, somebody that, essentially, we are, again, we love pro wrestling here. People always used to say that Roman Reigns was force-fed to us. We didn't like Roman at the time because he was force-fed. He was the company guy, right? Well, it's the same thing. Paddy Pimblett is that company guy. Paddy Pimblett, in the last 3 years, has only fought once a year. Not only is he only fought once, and granted, this is an interim championship fight, right? This is for a belt. One time in the last 3 years. Let's talk about the individuals that he's actually fought against. We'll start with it. Tony Ferguson, washed. Bobby Green, I love Bobby Green, my G, washed. Michael Chandler, great champion when he was a Bellator, has some incredible fights. Oh my God, he gets in it. Washed. So you got these 3 guys that are washed, and then you're going out with a guy in Justin Gaethje that says that this might be his last fight. So you're consistently putting him in there against guys that have 1 foot out the door. So you're forcing me to do it because you guys are hopeful that he gets this fight and then he gets to fight Ilia Topuria. I see it, the business-wise, I get it, but this is lazy matchmaking. You're forcing this. This is the number 5 versus the number 6 guy. These guys shouldn't even be fighting for an interim belt. Arman Tsarukyan should have this opportunity, and we all know it. I'd rather see, Do Bronx go after this opportunity. There's so many individuals. It doesn't make sense that the number 4 and the number 5 guy are fighting for the title shot. So we'll see what it is. But regardless, and then I continue going on the fight card itself. We got Sean O'Malley. I love Sugar Sean. He does his thing. A former champion against Song Yadong. Song Yadong, another one. I'm a fan of Song Yadong. But Song Yadong ain't been Song Yadong for the last 3 years. We're talking about guys, they're filling up cards with names that don't have substance. We're missing, and the big matches that are available to it aren't going to be there. But let me switch gears a little bit, and let me be a little positive. Okay, let me be positive. Because of these athletes, in my opinion, that aren't the creme de la creme anymore, we're seeing guys that still have a lot of ability, but because of their age, because of the wear and tear, the tread gone on their tires, and because they know how the UFC actually acts, and they're rewarding people that gives themselves CTE, this fight's gonna slap. Okay. These are the opportunities that we look at, and we're saying that these fights have the opportunity, and the card has the opportunity to be extremely, extremely entertaining. And the card has the opportunity to be entertaining specifically because the talent level is dropped. Sometimes when we have so much talent and these guys are equally matched, when you have guys that are equally matched, unfortunately at times, the fights aren't as amazing as we want them to be, specifically because they're, when you have 2 high-level guys, they're not going to go out there. They're playing chess. But with this, we have an opportunity. We might see some knockouts. I'm not going to say we're going to see some knockouts. And the same thing with the Zuffa boxing card. It's gonna be a thing. But in terms of Dana White not caring and seeing this, the more and more I look at it, he is not putting his best foot forward with these MMA cards. MMA, in my opinion, a couple years ago was hitting on all cylinders. I mean, we had fighters from all over the world. We had organizations everywhere that were doing their thing, and now it just doesn't have that feeling. That feeling is gone, and part of that feeling might be the way that they're out here whitewashing, the UFC, the way that it has been so inherently MAGA. Watching individuals like Sean Strickland going out there and making a post and putting it on social media, acting as if he's an ICE agent when he's fighting against a Mexican guy and putting him in stereotypical Mexican garb. When you got the guy who's fighting Adesanya, Joe Pfeiffer, going out here and essentially stating and putting like he's arresting like he's an ICE agent. Yo, first and foremost, fuck you guys. All those guys that sit there and say that and act that way and sit there and wanna make light of the stuff that we're going on and the people that black and brown individuals out here that are actively dealing with on a day-to-day basis, you guys are making light and making jokes of that. Yo, this is completely asinine. So you have that, and then you have an organization that backs it up and says, yeah, this is cool. Hey, but we're not a political organization. Motherfucker, you went out there and you're speaking on the Republican conventions. Come on. And it's utterly ridiculous. And I'll be honest with you, the association with MAGA is the reason that the UFC is not as popular as it is. Now, I know some of you are going to look in my comments and sit there and say, hey, you know, if we're looking at numbers and things like that, if you know anything about anything, you can inflate them damn numbers. Just ask Drake. It is what it is. All right. Other thing I wanted to touch on today, let's rotate to boxing. We got Andy Cruz fighting this weekend. That's going to be fantastic. That's actually on the Matchroom card. If you want to see a great card, him versus Mureta, that's going to be a fantastic fight card. Andy Cruz, if you guys don't know him, he's a former gold medalist. He's the one who beat Keyshawn Davis in his gold medal, and he is just fantastic. He's fighting for a championship fight. This is only his 7th pro fight. I love every second of it. That's going to be good. But this is what I want to talk about. Obviously, not this week. Next week, the 31st, is SHAKUR Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. And I had to touch on this a little bit. I continue seeing comments and individuals stating that SHAKUR Stevenson is a runner. He runs. He goes out. He's a runner. He's a track star. I'm seeing cats call him Shakira and everything. And I have to say this in terms of that comment. If you think SHAKUR Stevenson is a runner, in the words of the late, great Roger Mayweather, you don't know shit about boxing. Okay? In the words of Floyd Mayweather, you don't know shit about boxing. Because if you actually sit there and watch SHAKUR Stevenson and what he does, 9 out of 10 times, SHAKUR Stevenson is walking forward, throwing shots. Just because, again, guys, it's boxing. It's not, let me get CTE. It's boxing. Go back and watch this fight against Jamel Herring. Go back and watch this fight against Moschino. Go back and watch his last fight. Everybody wants to bring up his one fight against Edwin De Los Santos. And if I watch that fight again, we also have to take into account that this was the man who was fighting that fight with a broken hand. So with one hand, he beat Edwin De Los Santos, okay? Was it the most entertaining fight in the world? No, it wasn't. I'm not going to say that. But if we're actually being intellectually honest with ourselves, we would understand and we know that SHAKUR Stevenson is the antithesis of somebody who runs. He is somebody that stands his ground, make sure you don't hit him because it's a sweet science. You're moving, you're slipping, and he doesn't allow people to do them. Now, does he have times put himself in bad positions and he's been hurt because of that? Absolutely. He jumps straight back sometimes. That puts him out of position. But in his last fight, is that we noticed he's slipping, he's catching, he's right there. If we look at all the other fights, he's literally walking down throwing bombs. So if you're calling him a runner, bro, you're just being lazy. It's lazy. It's super lazy to sit there and call it. Again, you're proving to me that you actually don't watch the sport. You don't watch the sport. You don't watch this athlete, but you're active on Twitter. You're active on Twitter. You're active online, and you have you enjoy shitting on athletes when you will never say none of that stuff to their face. Me? I say stuff to their face. That's why I'm being honest. When I say I'm talking to their face, Avalon Theater, I'm about to go talk to Ryan Garcia and all them boys right now. I'm literally about to walk in there and talk to all those fighters and all their coaches. And they see me. They know who I am. So I have to be honest because I will be in their face. But since some of y'all ain't going to be in nobody's face, you guys get to talking real crazy online. Watch the sport. Understand the sport. Love the sport. Okay? Be fun. Talk shit. That's a part of it. But respect the athletes. And let these fools, again, they're actually there entertaining us. Take your time. Understand different styles. One thing I can't stand where people shitting on UFC and MMA talking about the grapplers. Such and such is boring. Are you kidding? Do you see the dominance? And then this is martial arts. Boxing is a form of martial arts, man. Enjoy every aspect of it and enjoy greatness while it's here, man. So, you know, salute to all you guys. We're about to go to this Young Media Day and enjoy that. But this weekend, we have a bunch of fights. Obviously, UFC 324. We have that in Vegas. We also have Zuffa Boxing. We'll be breaking that down next week. I'll talk about the entire card there. We also have talk about the the Andy Cruz fight card, and we'll be prepping for the Shakur TO fight card as well, which is on the 31st. So a lot of good fights coming up, man. MMA, boxing, MMA is full back. Boxing is in full swing, man. And hey, man, this is what it is. I love y'all. I'm Serg Vicente, the host of the Fight Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yo, I've really been appreciating everybody's love on social media. If you guys also have an opportunity, check out on Netflix, WWE Unreal. Your boy got a feature on there. They got a clip, man. It was real cool. A couple months ago, the WWE reached out to me. That we were talking about Naomi on our boxing, our pro wrestling show here on the Fight Podcast Network. And it was fantastic, man. So they put it up there. We got a nice little feature. Your boy put the button on the segment, man. So check us out. We're on WWE Unreal episode 2, talking about Naomi. I think it's like the 31-minute mark or something like that. I'm on there, man. So, but we're on there. So salute to y'all. I love y'all, and we will see you next time right here on the Fight Podcast. Peace out.